Good morning. This is our lecturer 2 in 2 of basic electrical engineering. Okay. In our previous lecturer, that is in lecturer 1, I was talking about the potential. Uh, okay. I was talking about the electrical potential. Then I talked about the resistance. Okay. Then we have discussed about the units of resistance. Then the laws of resistance we have talked about. Then after that we have covered the resistivity and the unit of resistivity also. Okay. Now in this lecturer I want to show you a table. See the table here. Okay, I am telling some materials I have taken. Okay, on my first column I have taken some materials. Then after that, okay, I was telling their resistivity in ohm meter. Okay, at 20 degrees centigrade. Then after that, in my third column I was showing the temperature coefficient at 20 degrees centigrade. Okay, because the value of resistivity and temperature coefficient for various materials will be vary, and if the temperature will be changed, then and that means if we are also depending upon the temperature to calculate the resistance. Okay, so if we have some different temperature, then the different resistivity will be available for a material or for a metal or for a conductor or any kind of material. Okay, so as we know that for different temperatures, different resistivity and different resistance is offered by the conductor. So for that, I have considered a temperature which is 20 degrees centigrade, and for this temperature, I am showing the figure here. I am showing the table here. So you can see the table for material aluminium, which is used in commercial. Okay, at 20 degrees centigrade, the resistivity of the aluminum is 2.8, and the temperature coefficient at 20 degrees centigrade is 40.3, and when it is brass, that is 6 to 8. It will vary from 6 to 8 ohm meter, and the temperature will be temperature coefficient will be 20. Similarly, when it is carbon, okay, the resistivity offered by carbon is 3000 to 7000 ohm meter, and temperature coefficient at 20 degrees, that is -5. And similarly, you can see the magnitude of Constantan or Eureka. Okay, then for copper, which is annealed, you can see for copper the resistivity in ohm meter, and for temperature coefficient what is the value. Then for germanium silver also you can see the magnitude here. Okay, then exactly germanium silver is nothing but when I am talking about German silver, that is there 84% of copper is there, and 12% nickel, and 4% of zinc is there. Okay, so this is a compound material. Then for gold we can tell what is the value of resistivity in ohm meter and what is the temperature coefficient you can observe here. Okay, and similarly for iron and for manganese, the manganese which is of 84% of copper, 12% of Mn, and 4% of Ni. Okay, that is manganese and nickel and copper. Okay, and similarly for mercury, nichrome is contained 60% of Cu, 25% of Fe, and 15% of Cr. Okay, similarly for nickel and for platinum, for silver, and for tungsten. Okay, and for amber, for bakelite, for glass, for mica, and for rubber, for shellac, for sulfur, etc. Okay, so here you just see when I am talking about the materials which are offering very high resistivity. at 20 degree centigrade. That is, I have drawn a line there. Okay, in the table a line is there. So below to the line, I have written like amber, bakelite, or glass, mica, rubber, shellac, sulfur, etc. These are maybe normally coming under what? Insulating material, or they are very bad conductors, or these are very bad conductor type materials. Because of that, their resistivity is very high. So for them I have not written the temperature coefficient. Okay, because these are purely insulating materials, I think. Okay, so for that, okay, we are not included the temperature coefficient of those, only which are very good conductor, or somehow they are taking place in the conduction, or those are in coming under conducting material. So for them we have shown you, or I have shown you the resistivity in ohm meter at 20 degree centigrade, and also for the temperature coefficient. Okay, and the rest of the material I have shown the resistivity of Earth. Okay, now coming for a numerical. Okay, here a coil consists of 2000 tons. The question is, okay, the question is, a coil consists of 2000 tons of copper wire having a cross-sectional area of 0.8 mm square. Okay, and the mean length per turn is 80 cm, and the resistivity of copper is 0.02 micro ohm meter. Okay, resistivity of copper is what? 0.02 micro ohm meter. Okay, then find the resistance of the coil and the power absorbed by the coil when connected across 110 volt DC supply. So as per the question, we can write the length of the coil is what? 0.8 mm square. The length of the so here first we have to talk about the given data. The mean length per turn is given as 80 cm. Okay, so in meter form we can tell here L is what? For 1 turn. For 1 turn, what is the length in meter? 0.08. So how many turns are there in the coil? So in the question it is given that 2000 turns are there in for the copper wire. Okay, for the copper coil there is 2000 turns. Okay, so length of the coil will be what? L is 0.8, which is the length per meter, length of a single coil, and obviously the number of turn is 2000, so we have to multiply the length of a single coil into the number of coils. Okay, number of turns. So L will be 0.8 into 2000, so it will be 1600 meter. So length of the coil, which is small L, will be 1600 meter. Then another data, which is cross sectional area, is also given. Okay, that is 0.8 mm square. So we can write capital A as 0.8 mm square. So when we are converting the cross sectional area into meter form, then we can write 0.8 into what? 10 to the power minus 6 meter square. Okay. Now our aim is what? We have to find the resistance of the coil. So now when we are going to calculate the resistance of the coil, what is the formula for resistance? Resistance is R, so R is equal to rho L by A. So now put the values L and A, and also the resistivity of copper is also given. Okay, that is 0.02 ohm micro ohm meter. So put all the values of rho L and A. Rho is rho A and given rho A are given and L is already calculated. So put the values there. Then we can get the resistance is the value of resistance is, after solving or after calculating, we can tell that the resistance R is of the coil is what? 40 ohm. Now our aim is what? We have to calculate the power absorbed by the coil when it is connected across 110 DC supply. So here the voltage, this is a DC supply and the voltage is what? 110. Okay. So when we are calculating the power absorbed, we can write the formula B square by R. Okay, power absorbed, a power formula for power is what? B square by R. Okay. So already you know the value of B, which is 110 volt, and we have calculated the value of R. So we can put these two things or two values, then it will become 110 square divided by 40. So the power absorbed will be, after calculation, it will come as 302.5 watts. Okay. I am taking the help of B.L. Thereja, which is volume 1, and this book is for basic electrical engineering. Okay. So you can purchase a book B.L. Thereja for that. Okay, for your study or for your homework and all that. Okay. So in our next question, okay, I want to discuss about the another question. I want to talk about a numerical. Okay, again another numerical. So here the question is, an aluminum wire 7.5 meter long is connected in a parallel with a copper wire 6 meter long. When a current of 5 ampere is passed through the combination, okay, it is found that the current in the aluminum wire is 3 ampere. Then the diameter of the aluminum wire is 1 millimeter, and determine the diameter of the copper. Resistivity of copper is 0.017 micro ohm meter, and the total and that of aluminum, the resistivity is 0.028 micro ohm meter. Okay. Now I want to solve the question. So when we have to solve, when we are trying to solve the question, first we have to read the question in detail. Okay, and try to understand the question. Okay, then only after understanding the question, okay, you can able to solve the numerical as per the requirement or as per the unknown data. Okay, so obviously the unknown data can be derived from the known data which are given in the question. Okay, so see the diagram. Here I have shown the aluminum and copper wire. Okay, and the resistance of aluminum and copper, which are in series, which are in parallel. Okay. Now I want to write the subscript, or I want to talk about the subscript 1, which represents aluminum arms, and see the diagram. The first one, the first subscript 1 is represents aluminum, and the second subscript is represents the copper. See the diagram. Okay, and the supply voltage is V. Okay, so I can write R1 is equal to rho L1 by A1, and R2 is equal to rho 2 L2 by A2. Okay, and for R1 it is rho 1 for R1 it is rho 1. Okay, not row. Okay, it is rho 1. So we can write R1 is equal to rho 1 L1 by A1, and for R2 that is rho 2 L2 by A2. Okay, similarly suppose you are writing the cross sectional area A2. Okay, before that we can tell that, or we can write that R2 by R1. But after writing R1 and R2, we can take the ratio of R2 and R1. Okay, so we can write R2 by R1 is what? Rho 2 by rho 1 L into L2 by L1 into A1 by A2. So from this calculation we can write A2. Okay, A2 is A1 into R1 by R2 into rho 1 into rho 2 by rho 1 into L2 by L1. Okay, so already in the question it is given that I1 is 3 ampere. Okay, and I2 is, if I1 is 3 ampere, so obviously I2 will be 5 minus 3, which will be 2 ampere, because the total current is 5 ampere. Okay, and if I1 will be 3 ampere, it is also given the current in the aluminum wire. So obviously the current in the copper wire will be 5 minus 3, which is 2 ampere. Now if the V is the common voltage across the parallel combination of aluminum and copper wire, then we can write this is the supply voltage. Okay, so we can write V is I1 R1, and also we can write V is I2 R2. Okay, because the connection is parallel and the supply voltage across them is V. So we can write V is I1 R1, which is equal to I2 R2. So we can write R1 by R2 as I2 by I1. Okay, as both I1 R1 is equal to I2 R2. So already we have derived the value of I2 and I1. So I can write R1 by R2 is nothing but that is 2 by 3. Okay, so now what, suppose we are trying to find the value of A1. Okay, so I can write A1 is pi d square by 4. Okay, that is the cross sectional area, formula for cross sectional area. So which will be equal to pi 1 square, because the resistivity is 1 mm. Okay, sorry, the 1 minute. Yeah. Sorry, here the diameter of the aluminum wire is 1 mm. Okay, so when I want to write the cross sectional area A1, for A1 we can write pi d square by 4. So diameter D is the value of diameter D is what? 1. So in mm form. Okay, so I can write A1 is pi into 1 square by 4, which is pi by 4 mm square. So substituting these values, okay, because our aim is what? We are trying to find out the cross sectional area of copper. So already we have derived the cross sectional area of aluminum, which is A1, which is pi by 4 mm square. So put this value in the above equation which is A2 is equal to A1 into R1 by R2 into rho 2 by rho 1 into L2 by L1. Okay, by putting the magnitudes, we can write A2 is pi by 4 into 2 by 3 into 0.017 by 0.028 into 6 by 7.5. All the data are given and some data we have calculated. So after calculating, the value of A2 will be 0.2544 meter square. Okay. Now our aim is what? We want to derive the diameter of copper. So once we have calculated the cross-sectional area of the copper, which is 0.2544 meter square, then formula for A2 is what? Pi d2 square by 4. Okay, that is the value of pi d2 square by 4 is what? 0.2544. So here d2 will be after calculation, the value of d2 will be 0.569 mm. Here another thing I want to tell here, in this calculation, see, when I was writing the cross-sectional area of to calculate the cross-sectional area of aluminum, that is A1. Okay, I am formulating it. Then here I have written also, or in the book, I have taken the section of the book. So here also it is written as d square. So for the convenience, we can write here d1. Okay, we can write here in the place of d square, we can write d1 square there. Okay, getting? Now come to understand by doing another numerical. Now we are going through another numerical, our third numerical of the lecturer. So here the question is, a piece of silver wire has a resistance of has a resistance of 1 ohm. What will be the resistance of manganese wire of 1/3 the length and 1/3 the diameter if the specific resistance of manganese is 30 times that of silver? This is our question. Read the question carefully. Try to understand then try to understand for the solution. So now come to understand the solution here. So for silver wire, here we can write for silver wire the resistance which is R1 is equal to L1 by A1, and for manganese wire we can write R2 is rho 2 into L2 by A2. See here actually it is written R, but this is not R. This is R2. Okay. So R2 is rho 2 into L2 by A2. Now by taking the ratio of R1 and R2, okay, we can by taking the ratio of R2 and R1, we can write R2 by R1 is rho 2 by rho 1 into L2 by L1 into A1 by A2. And we know that for cross-sectional area calculation, suppose I want to calculate the cross-sectional area A1 and formulate it. So A1 will be pi d1 square by 4 And similarly for cross sectional area of manganese, that is A2 will be pi d2 square by 4. So suppose I am taking the ratio of A1 to A2, so I can write A1 divided by A2 will be same as d1 square by d2 square. We are taking the ratio of A1 to A2. So now, okay, in the place of A1 and A1 by A2 in the previous equation, which is R2 by R1 is equal to rho 2 by rho 1 into L2 by L1 into A1 by A2. We have to put there in the place of A1 by A2, we have to put there d1 square by d2 square. So it will become, the equation will become R2 by R1 will be rho 2 by rho 1 into L2 by L1 into d1 by d2 whole square. Okay, and we know that as per the data R1 is 1 ohm, and when we are taking the ratio of I2 by I1, so it is 1 by 3. Okay, see the question. So d1 by d2 square will be 3 by 1 whole square, which is 9. So we can write rho 2 by rho 1 is 30 here. Okay, it is given. So after putting the data, we can derive for R2. Okay, so R2 will be 1 into 30 into 1 by 3 into 9, which is 90 ohm. So what was our aim? We have to calculate, our duty was from the numerical. Okay, we have to calculate the resistance of the manganese wire. So now we have calculated the resistance of manganese wire, which is R2, and the value is coming as 90 ohm. Getting? So here we have discussed the table. Okay, in our previous lecture we have discussed the basics of potential difference or electrical potential, resistance and its units, then the laws of resistance, then resistivity and its unit. And in this lecture we have covered, first I have shown you a table where for a temperature, okay, for different materials at a given temperature, okay, I have shown you the specific resistance value and the temperature coefficient value of the different materials, and also in that table I have shown you the specific resistance of the insulating materials also, because insulating materials are nothing but those are bad conductors, or those are offering very high resistivity. Okay, so that means they are used for insulation. Okay, they are not suitable for conduction. Okay, so I have shown all the materials that may be conducting material or insulating materials in the table, and I have shown the specific resistance and temperature coefficient of them at a constant temperature, which is 20 degrees centigrade. Then after that I have covered because we have learned some formula on that. Okay, so according to our formulas and knowledge, okay, I have shown you 3 numericals. Okay, and I think you have understood the numerical very perfectly. So I think you have learned something or some basic things now, or you are able to identify or you are able to understand here what is potential difference and resistance and resistivity, everything easily you can understand now. And after solving the numericals, it is again better for you, okay, for the understanding of those things. Okay, so this finishes my second lecture. Okay, in our next lecture we have to discuss about the conductance and conductivity of the material. Then after that we have to talk about the effect of temperature on resistance and the temperature coefficient of resistance. So those things we have to discuss in our next lecture. This time I want to end my lecture. Thank you very much.